Miles is my partner. We've met at the end of 2007 and we've got a daughter, Billie, who just turned 3, who's the title of my cooking blog, Billie Bites. And we've got another child on the way due in November. So
how exciting!
There's a lot happening. It's the creativity, so the cooking's creative, the blogging's creative. I'm a journalist by trade. At the moment I work in television, but I previously worked in newspapers and magazines, and so it was part of me that was missing the writing. So this was an opportunity to write without an editor. There's a real buzz that you get from publishing something and having total control over it, but it's also the sharing of recipes, and so being able to, I get a real buzz out of you know, I'll see a friend or an acquaintance I haven't seen for months and they'll say, oh, I've been making your muesli bars, and I'll think, oh wow, I forgot about those, I haven't made those for months, you know, and so I'll make them again. So it's sort of cyclical.
How do you fit your cooking in with the other demands of life?
Yeah, look, it's an ongoing struggle and tricky. I do much more cooking than I do blogging, because we have to eat, so, and I do most of the cooking in the house, but I would like to do, you know, a lot of the, obviously Monday to Wednesday I work, and so those nights are cooking quick meals, so not particularly fun and satisfying or creative, and then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday I can get more creative. Often I get envious of people who have food blogs that don't have kids, and they, you know, obviously have so much more time to do it and to market it and to present it and everything, or even just to cook more stuff. But at the same time, I wouldn't have my blog if it wasn't for Billie, because she was what inspired me to do it.
Yeah. What do you hope that she learns about food from seeing you and your passion?
I hope that she's already learning a lot about ingredients and knowing where food comes from. She knows, you know, that milk and butter and cheese come from a cow and eggs come from a hen, although I did try and tell her the other day that when people eat chicken it comes from a chicken, and she didn't believe me about that. I really pushed that one. And I do find that Billie is more interested in eating what we've cooked if she's been involved, so I think that whole thing of just breaking it down, the mystery of it, you know, it was her birthday last week and
My foot is hungry.
Your foot's hungry? What's your foot gonna eat?
You better feed it some muesli cookies.
Should we make it some muesli cookies? This is where I write down recipes as I'm going, and then they go into my blog, and this one hasn't made it into the blog yet, but it will next week. Muesli cookies. This recipe's great, doesn't have any butter in it, no sugar, just honey and oil, and it's really pretty healthy. I was looking on the back of a flour packet last night and they had a recipe for muesli cookies, and I was like, oh, what have they got in? It was like 2 cups of sugar and all this butter and then some packet muesli. I was like, that is totally missing the point. Good girl. Pour it all in. Now we're going to
Put the honey.
Put the honey?
put the honey. Okay, can you stir that down now, Billie? You're a good little helper.
You're great. No, she's getting good to the shape of the cookie now.
Yum. Look at that, hey? Oh, look at that. Looks pretty good.
Oh, yum. That look great.
What do you think?
Yummy.
I actually spent weeks coming up with that recipe in my head, so even though I made both the muesli bars and the muesli cookies up on the spot, I'd actually been thinking about it for ages, and there was a great deal of satisfaction out of that, and I could have easily just googled it and found a recipe and then gone, oh, this is how I do it, I'll adapt it, but I actually wanted to challenge myself and not do that, and I'm really happy with what I came up with, and I think if I'd gone and looked for it I wouldn't have come up with that. So I sort of often I'll be ticking away as a bit of a sort of intellectual puzzle of, particularly with things when it involves baking, because it's much more complicated when you bake. It's much more this chemistry and things going on, so actually to make up a recipe that involves baking is a lot more of a challenge creatively and intellectually. I went home and lived in the UK when I was 18, 19, and I was an au pair for a family. The big thing for me then was their mother, Mandy, who was a brilliant cook and really passionate about food, and had a really different style of cooking than what I've been around, really into French and Italian cooking.
Alright.
And she ate meat, so, which I don't, so she was slightly different style, but she taught me to make things like risotto, which I'd never made before, and just ingredients in the house that in New Zealand that weren't even available, sort of mascarpone cheese and creme fraiche and things like that. And so being around her, she made everything from scratch down to her stock, and you know, just her passion for cooking was a massive inspiration. I think it was just being in that environment and having to cook as part of my job. And one of the recipes that I'm going to make today, the chili beans, I actually made up while I was living with Mandy and Nick and cooking for these kids. The best thing about it was that when I finished my job as an au pair there, Phoebe and Rowley, the kids, asked me to give Mandy my bean recipe, which was this huge compliment because the mother, who was this amazing cook, they were saying, we want Sarah's bean recipe. Do you want to come and watch, Billie? You can come and watch if you like. Making beans. Look. Your favourite.
Window. There's a window. There's a window.
Look. What I would do is I would serve them with the nachos is obviously corn chips and cheese and yogurt, a bit of coriander. Burritos, I'd do maybe some brown rice, some grated cheddar, some fresh coriander, some spinach or lettuce, some yogurt, and a bit of guacamole, some chili, if you haven't already put chili in here. And if I was doing tacos, then I wouldn't do the rice, and I'd just do the beans, cheese, spinach or lettuce, and some guac or yogurt. Easy. Smells good. I am passionate still about eating food that you've cooked from scratch as much as possible, using whole ingredients, not getting sucked into manufacturers telling you that you need to buy this and that, which you often don't, and expensive and lots of packaging. And I think that if people, particularly in this current climate with climate change, if the less meat we eat, the better. So if I can encourage and motivate and support people to eat a few meals of less meat, then that's great. And again, I'm not trying to convert anyone, and I'm not interested in doing that, but I think it's great to, it's great for people who, and lots of my friends that eat meat will make recipes off my blog and really enjoy them, and that's fantastic.